You think you've seen energy before. You think you've seen passion, drive, and obsession. But you've never seen Steve Ballmer. While the world worshipped the calm genius of Bill Gates, behind him stood a man who screamed, sweated, and sold like no one else in the history of business. A man who didn't build the future quietly, but shouted it into existence. This is the story of how an ordinary man from Detroit turned raw madness into a multi-billion-dollar empire. How a man mocked for his loudness became one of the richest, most underestimated humans alive. And how, without him, Microsoft might never have conquered the world. He was loud. He was chaotic. He was the engine behind the machine. Steve Ballmer wasn't born into power. He wasn't a coder. He wasn't even supposed to be in tech. He was a math genius who ended up at Harvard, the same place, the same dorm as Bill Gates. While Gates was the quiet strategist, Ballmer was the storm, the kind of guy who could turn a study group into a battlefield of ideas. And yet, that strange chemistry worked. They didn't just understand numbers, they understood ambition. So when Gates dropped out to build Microsoft, Ballmer went on to climb the corporate ladder. But destiny had other plans. It was 1980. Microsoft was growing too fast for one man to handle. Gates was exhausted, buried in work, fighting chaos. So he made a call that would change history. He called Ballmer. "Come join me," he said. "We're building something that will change the world." At that time, Ballmer had a safe job at Procter & Gamble, good salary, stability, benefits. But deep down, he wanted fire. He wanted to move mountains. So he left everything behind to join Microsoft as employee number 30. His salary? Just $50,000 and a small slice of stock. That stock would one day make him worth over $100 billion. Most people think success is luck. Ballmer proved it's controlled madness. From the moment he walked into Microsoft, everything changed. Meetings became louder. Deals became bigger. The company became unstoppable. While Gates was the brain, Ballmer was the blood flow. He didn't just manage people, he ignited them. He screamed, he cheered, he made people believe. When Gates introduced new code, Ballmer introduced new culture. When others doubted, he sold the dream harder. Soon, Microsoft wasn't just a software company. It was a revolution. If you've ever seen the clip of Ballmer yelling, "Developers, developers, developers," you've seen the pure essence of him. He didn't act, he was that energy. He believed every word, every shout, every drop of sweat. That moment wasn't just a meme. It was history. It was raw proof that success doesn't always wear a suit and speak softly. Sometimes, success screams until the world listens. Behind closed doors, Ballmer was the man keeping Microsoft alive when things got brutal. The business side, the sales machine, the deals with IBM, the contracts that defined an era, that was Ballmer. And while the media focused on Gates, Ballmer quietly became a billionaire. But his fire came with chaos. He wasn't polished. He wasn't political. He scared investors, terrified rivals, and sometimes even his own employees. People called him crazy. But crazy is just another word for refuses to be average. Every time someone laughed at his loudness, he turned it into fuel. Every criticism became energy. Every failure, another reason to push harder. Ballmer didn't care about being liked. He cared about winning. While Bill Gates became the world's richest man, Ballmer became the power behind the curtain. He negotiated billion-dollar deals. He built Microsoft's marketing empire. He made Windows and Office not just products, but necessities. His fingerprints are on every computer that changed the world. And when Gates finally stepped down, guess who took the throne? Steve Ballmer, the loudest CEO in history. When he became CEO in 2000, the world doubted him. The press laughed. Investors panicked. Microsoft was in the middle of an antitrust war, surrounded by rivals, losing its charm. But Ballmer didn't back down. He didn't play safe. He fought with fire. Under his leadership, Microsoft's revenue tripled. He launched Xbox, entered cloud computing, and made Office an unstoppable cash machine. People only saw his sweat and shouts, but behind that energy was one of the sharpest strategic minds ever to run a company. He wasn't trying to be Gates. He was trying to be Ballmer. In 2014, Steve Ballmer shocked the world. He resigned. No scandal, no drama, just gone. After 33 years, the storm had ended. Or had it? Because what he did next proved that his story was far from over. He bought the Los Angeles Clippers for $2 billion in cash. People said he overpaid. Today, that team is worth 4 times more. He turned a basketball team into a business empire. Because Ballmer doesn't play games, he builds empires, one scream at a time. This was only the beginning of his hidden reign. The next chapter reveals how Steve Ballmer became a silent giant in technology, sports, and AI, without anyone noticing. The story of how the loudest man in the room became one of the most powerful forces in modern capitalism. A story of madness, loyalty, and a vision that refused to die. Stay tuned for part 2. Because if you thought he was loud at Microsoft, wait until you see what he did after leaving it behind. The world thought Steve Ballmer would disappear quietly after leaving Microsoft. They were wrong. What they didn't realize was that Ballmer never stopped moving. He just moved differently. While the spotlight shifted to younger CEOs and flashy startups, Ballmer was busy building a private empire so vast, so strategic, that most people still don't know how deep it goes. After stepping down, he didn't rest. He studied, he analyzed, he reinvented himself. Because for Ballmer, the game was never about software, it was about domination. He poured billions into data, analytics, and technology infrastructure, building one of the most powerful private portfolios in America. Most billionaires invest in luxury, Ballmer invests in the future. He created USA Facts, a platform that collects and visualizes US government data, giving citizens a clearer view of how their country works. Why would a man worth over $100 billion care about data transparency? Because Ballmer isn't just rich, he's obsessed with systems. He spent his life organizing chaos, turning energy into structure. Now he wanted to do the same for the entire nation. Quietly, methodically, he built what some call the Google of government. But even while he was building quietly, Ballmer couldn't hide his fire. Every public appearance became viral. His laughter, his passion, his unpredictable intensity, it all reminded the world that energy, real energy, never fades. While tech billionaires built rockets and social networks, Ballmer built something more human. Connection through clarity, vision through facts. Yet, the part of his empire that no one can ignore is his ownership of the Los Angeles Clippers. When he bought the team, people laughed. They said he was paying too much for a franchise known for losing. But Ballmer didn't see a team. He saw potential. He saw a brand ready to explode. He poured his business brain into sports, upgrading facilities, hiring top talent, and transforming the Clippers into a multi-billion-dollar machine. He turned the culture of losing into a culture of obsession. Players, fans, staff, everyone started to feel the Ballmer effect. He didn't just buy a team. He built an experience. The new Intuit Dome, the most advanced basketball arena in the world, is a monument to his philosophy, power through passion. Every detail screams precision, innovation, and emotion. That's Ballmer's signature. Whether it's software, data, or sports, he doesn't settle for good. He builds greatness from the ground up. And here's where it gets interesting. Ballmer's influence extends into artificial intelligence, cloud computing, and educational data systems. He's funding projects that quietly shape the next generation of technology and information flow. While others talk about the metaverse, Ballmer is creating the infrastructure for what comes after it. His vision? A world where information is power and everyone can access it, if they know where to look. Behind the scenes, his wealth has grown faster than almost anyone else's. Microsoft stock skyrocketed under Satya Nadella's leadership, but who still owns one of the biggest stakes? Steve Ballmer. His fortune ballooned not because he chased trends, but because he built something that lasts. Today, he's worth more than $140 billion. That makes him richer than most countries' GDPs. And yet, he still shows up courtside, screaming, cheering, sweating. The same raw energy that once electrified Microsoft still burns in him. People see madness, he sees life. Because when you fought your way from the bottom to the top of one of the most ruthless industries on earth, you earn the right to be loud. You earn the right to celebrate. But behind that smile, there's calculation. Ballmer never stopped learning from Gates. He learned how to scale, how to strategize, how to own the game. And now, while most CEOs fade into irrelevance after retirement, Ballmer is still playing chess on a global board. Through philanthropy, data innovation, and the world of sports, he's influencing millions without anyone realizing it. In private, people describe him as relentless. His staff says he still runs meetings like it's 1995, intense, focused, full of life. When something excites him, he jumps, he shouts, he claps his hands. He doesn't fake it. He can't. His authenticity is his weapon. And that's something money can't buy. The truth is, Steve Ballmer's life is proof that success doesn't have to look calm or perfect. It can look wild, chaotic, even crazy, as long as the results speak louder than the critics. He showed the world that emotion is not weakness. It's fuel. It's fire. It's the secret engine of greatness. Most billionaires hide behind walls of silence and image. Ballmer doesn't. He's unapologetically himself. The man who once shouted developers, on stage now uses his voice to shout something bigger, about leadership, about purpose, about the kind of drive it takes to move the world forward. When you look at him, you see more than a businessman. You see what happens when passion refuses to die. You see what happens when a man doesn't just want to win. He wants to change the entire game. From Detroit to Harvard to Microsoft to the Clippers, every chapter of his life screams the same truth. Never underestimate the power of being unstoppable. And here's the part most people don't realize. Ballmer's story isn't finished. He's still investing in technologies that will define the next 50 years. AI, data ethics, civic engagement, and public analytics. His empire might be private, but his impact is public. He's proving that legacy isn't just about building wealth. It's about building systems that last. Some say he's the last of the old-school billionaires, the kind who built their wealth through grit instead of luck. But Ballmer would laugh at that. He doesn't see himself as old school. He sees himself as timeless. The kind of man who can outwork anyone, outthink anyone, and still dance on stage like nobody's watching. If there's one thing to learn from Steve Ballmer, it's this. You don't have to fit the mold to make billions. You don't have to be calm, quiet, or composed. You just have to care more than anyone else. Care so deeply that you can't stay silent. Care so intensely that people feel your energy before you even enter the room. So the next time you see a man jumping, shouting, and celebrating life like it's the best day ever, remember this. That's not madness. That's mastery. That's what happens when obsession meets opportunity. Steve Ballmer isn't just a billionaire. He's proof that passion, when controlled, becomes power. And that power, when unleashed, can move the world. So if you're still watching, take a second to think. What's your version of that energy? What's the dream you'd scream for? Because that's where it starts, with fire, not fear. If this story made you feel that spark, hit subscribe right now. Not for me, not for the channel, but for yourself. Because every week, we uncover the hidden stories of billionaires who refuse to be average. The ones who shaped the world in ways most people will never understand. Join the movement. Hit subscribe, drop a like, and turn on notifications. Because the next story might just change the way you see success forever.